And we come last but not least to the presentation of Dustin Maas from the University of Utah. I will give you this already.
Thank you.
And he will talk about remotely accessible OAI workflows on the Powder platform.
Okay, thank you. It's good to be here to talk to all of you folks. I've met a lot of you in meetings, but haven't had a chance to meet you face to face yet, so it's great to be here. So Powder is one of the research wireless test beds that is funded under the Power initiative. We were one of the first platforms to be funded under Power, and we've made a lot of progress in our deployment. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Powder looks like and then how its resources can be mapped onto experimentation with OAI. Okay, so there's a big cartoon diagram on the left here, there that represents sort of the aggregation of all the resources on Powder. We're really a flexible sort of city scale research test bed for wireless. We include a lot of radios from NI, for example, COTS TVs, edge server class computes, base stations that are mounted on top of rooftops, pole tops, and client devices that are on, for example, mobile endpoints like buses that traverse the University of Utah campus, and in a wireless indoor over-the-air lab, as well as a control RF environment. So we've got all of these different resources that you can sort of stitch together to create whatever sort of experiment you'd like to do with wireless, and they map really well to cellular communications and the OAI stack. So a couple of things that are important to mention here is that Powder is really end-to-end software defined. So the networking is software defined, radios are software defined. You have bare metal access to every single resource on the platform. So you can use recipes that we provide that stitch all these things together and not necessarily touch all these things directly, or you can get in there and make whatever changes you want. Use our recipes as starting points for your own research and quickly spin up experiments with, for example, OpenAirInterface. We also offer bring your own device, bring your own software comes along with that. So we have several researchers that are bringing their own hardware to the platform and stitching it into our infrastructure and accessing it through our experimental workflow. So another important aspect of Powder is we are designated as an FCC innovation zone, which means we have some flexibility with spectrum that we get access to, and that we can pass it on to our users. So this includes, at the moment, access in the CBRS range as well as some of the low C-band. So with that, I'll move on to how we use this infrastructure to support research in OAI. And basically, I mentioned that we have these things, or we have recipes for experiments with OAI and other technologies. We call these profiles. And these profiles spin up all the resources necessary for human experiments, create the necessary VLANs, grab the spectrum, the RF hardware, etc., and deploy them all and include either scripts to initiate contact between the UE and the base stations, or detailed instructions about how to interact with the infrastructure to do that. And in order to facilitate research for OAI, we've come up with these recipes for a variety of different use cases, moving from simulated RF to the controlled RF environment that I mentioned, to indoor over-the-air transmission, and then eventually to outdoor over-the-air transmission. So the demonstration that we'll be showing in the booth is really going to be about interaction with the platform and spinning up these sorts of experiments, and how you might use this for your own research. So that's it.
So Now, after all these demo teasers that we have seen, now as yesterday we will have the demo visits that will be again in the room as where we have been yesterday with all those screens. Nevertheless, I am now, I believe, the last one to speak here in the podium. So I would like to take the occasion and thank you all for your participation. I was happy to talk to all of you and to exchange a little bit on OpenAirInterface, because also for me, when I sit in my office, I don't see that much what is happening with OpenAirInterface when I click on the merge button. So I was happy to meet all of you. I thank you again for your participation. I hope we will continue to engage over OpenAirInterface, see more code contributions, and I will be happy to see you back next year in the next OpenAirInterface workshop. Thank you.